Hi, everybody. My name is Riccardo. I'm a creative video producer and brand photographer. I'm here today with Delphine Kowal, who's a colleague and a friend of mine. And we're here to discuss a very interesting theme, which is how to use your personal brand. So present yourself in a few words, Delphine. And thank you for having a coffee with me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Riccardo. Thank you, and very happy to be here. So yes, I am a personal business coach. So I mainly work with business founders and entrepreneurs, a lot of solopreneurs. And so I'm a business coach. I use a lot of my marketing background. I used to work in brand and marketing in corporate. But I'm also a qualified executive coach. And when I work with my clients, there's a lot of personal development happening. So that's why I'm calling myself a personal business coach. I work on marketing strategy and mindset with my clients.
Wonderful. Great. So let's get started then. So first of all, so what's the role of a personal brand?
So we spoke about that the other day, didn't we? So personal brand is how do you intentionally use your create an image based on your very personal aspects or traits. Looking at what's your values, what's important to you, what's possibly your passion, what you stand for, what's your purpose, what's your personality. It's quite a self-exploration, but the beauty is that you choose the elements of you that you want to put in your brand, and that will build the foundations of your brand. And then you can use that as a compass to do anything in business. And the whole is very much to create this emotional connection for people to get attracted to you, to like you, and to want to do business with you. And it's really helping to stand out and create a preference on your marketplace.
Fantastic. So, and how can a personal brand bring your business forward, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think there's many ways, and it's actually interesting because most of the people I speak with, they would just start with, as soon as they start having a business, they think, I need a website, I need a logo, possibly I need some photography, and they just go to a designer and say, do me a logo, and I put it on my website, and that's it. When actually, in an ideal world, you would need to spend time on building the foundation of your brand, as we just said, how to do that, because then you can use it to bring it to life visually, absolutely, with a logo and other things. But you can also use it to do your marketing, but also to create your offers and program, to create things which are quite distinctive from what other people do. You can inject some of those in and I can talk a bit more about that, but into your processes, for example, in unexpected places. You use it in the interaction you have with your clients, but it's also you can also use it to attract and develop, for example, the right collaboration. So, for example, you and I think we probably have, and we didn't have this conversation, but that would be interesting. I think we have similar values, which got us to think that we would probably collaborate well, which is why we started to have this conversation. And then it's easier because you do things which make much more sense, and you do think it becomes easier to find the right partners, to find the right people you want to work with, to find the right clients. And also, I think there is another stage, which is once your business is growing to a certain point and you start growing a team, having a brand, being clear on your personal brand, then will evolve into being much more a business brand. But having those foundations will be massively important, because then you can use it to brief your team properly, to give them that vision, to give them those values, and then they embed in the company much, or in your small organization much easier. So it really helps, not only with your visual, it really helps at all levels.
Fantastic. What you just said really resonated with me, which is something along the line of creating a bigger impact, which is what I'm doing, you know, with my film and photography. I help purpose-driven leaders and organization to communicate better through stories, through meaningful stories, using authentic and powerful film and photography, so that they can create a bigger impact and a change as well. So do you think a personal brand can empower you to communicate better and to have a more impactful communication?
I 100% believe that. And I think it does really help. I can see a lot of, again, a lot of entrepreneurs who are early days in their journey. They know they need to be visible, but a lot of them don't have a marketing background. They don't necessarily know, they don't have that expertise. And they see a lot of things being said on social media. Social media is a free channel that everyone starts with. And there is some really good stories. There is also a lot of bad content being displayed out there, but that's the way you start anyway. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it takes time to really understand what is it I really want to talk about. And I think when you're clear, once you're clear on your brands and you have your brand pillars and you understand your values, then it gives you guidance in terms of what stories do I want to tell. You know, you want to share personal stories. Personal stories are very, very powerful, but a lot of people get very nervous about sharing their personal stories. So if they don't understand why they do it and what is it they want to talk about, it can get quite scary because it feels like everyone seems to be opening up on some deep issues. But if you know why you talk about it, so an example I can take is my story, without going into detail, is I moved from corporate to being a coach and to be an entrepreneur because my daughter has some special needs, and I needed time for her, and that really compromised with career progression. I got very frustrated about that, and I decided to take charge of my own destiny. So it built my purpose. And it really created who I am today, that story. And I am getting comfortable talking about it, but I know why I'm talking about it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to talk about everything on social media about what we're going through. You know, there's still a lot of privacy around this, but it really resonates, your life story resonates with people. But knowing why you're talking about it, if it's linked to your purpose, if there's stories which explain your values, these are all great stories to talk about. But yeah, it really gives you that clarity and helps you with your communication.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about storytelling, and which is what I do. So I absolutely love it. I mean, storytellings are so incredible to communicate and to share emotions and what we care about, and also it's a way of really making more sense of ourselves and the world. That's how we really process you know, this chaos, this magma that is life, and there we are as well. I mean, that's the beauty of us, I think, you know, but it's, you know, it's quite overwhelming, but through storytelling, you know, we can focus, we can narrow the focus, we can really start to make sense. That's how we learn.
And I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think it's also what people remember. So if you give a good story, people will remember, they will connect to it. Then it's knowing what the right story is. And you know, you talked about authenticity before, and I know that I'm quite an advocate now of I work with a lot of people who want to be authentic, but I always tell them, don't put authenticity as a core value for your business. What you need to do is being clear on your personal brand foundation, and then you live and breathe your brand through everything you do, and that will show authenticity. It's
Right.
more to be, yeah, and
Yeah.
knowing what stories, and it evolves over time, right? I mean, a brand is like a person. It's not you build it and then it's static. It just
Yeah.
evolve with you, with your business. It's not due to
It's alive.
stay the same. It's alive.
Yeah, it's like a
Yes.
person, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me think also about one thing that I've noticed, which is sometimes brands. I mean, I'm talking about the the small to medium sized brands that they almost get trapped inside a formula, and everything becomes a bit like a cliche. I mean, that's also true for bigger brands, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
think that the truth to me is that as a brand, you always need to talk with your customers, that you kind of have to morph and evolve depending on what your customer needs. And
Yes.
and the world is changing, so brands need to communicate in a different way. And I think if they
Yes.
don't do that, they die. So what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But what I would also say is the role of a brand is not only to attract new customers. I think there's a big role as well to retain your existing customers. So once you have your clients working with you, whatever you do, there is still opportunities to express your brand through all the touch points, and that can be through how you work with them, so your offers and programs. So one example I have is, for example, I'm thinking of a coach. There's a lot of coaches out there, as we know, and one of them was really keen to, obviously she's doing one-to-one work, but she's also a big fanatic of the outdoor. And what she started to do is to create programs which were around walking and coaching, or coaching walking, in the outdoor, using the environment and using a natural environment to create a different context. And she attracted people who were attracted in that and who were quite like-minded with her. So that's just one example, but it's not only to communicate before, it's also to communicate and to give that experience. We talk a lot about customer experience, giving that really good experience to people, to your clients, that they are loving what you are offering and what you stand for, and of course the results they get. Yeah.
It's great. No, thank you, Delphine. So I definitely have a few takeaways out of this conversation. So really,
Great.
I'm gonna put them into practice. Hopefully, also our followers will have something to work on. So any final takeaways you have? Any kind of final tips before we wrap?
I think the last one is, I mentioned it briefly, but it's your brand is also a way to communicate not only with your clients, but with people you want to work with. So I did mention collaboration, for example, but there's also freelancers. I think when you have your own business, you work with a lot of different freelancers like yourself, a photographer, a designer, a website designer, a coach, a VA. Being clear on your personal brand allow you to communicate what you're really about to those people who's going to come and deliver a service for you. And it's gonna motivate them, because they will have this clarity, they will be inspired by your story, by your purpose, by your values, and it will allow them to do a much better job for you.
Delphine, thanks so much for your time. I had a great espresso. Actually, I had it just before the recording. And so I'm still a bit like that, because it's the second of the day. So just to wrap up, Delphine, so how can people find out more about you, and how can they find out, how can they work with you if they want?
Yeah, sure. I work with solopreneur, entrepreneur, as I said. I've got some half-day workshop that I do sometimes if they just want to have a quick fix or a quick look at their personal brand. But the best way is really to work, because it takes time. It really takes time, and as I said, it's introspection. So I have a 4 months program where I work with my client on different aspects of their business, and the personal brand is one of them. And yeah, so that's how to work with me. And in terms of how to find me, best place is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I create regular content on LinkedIn, and I'd love to grow my network and also get to know the people who connect with me. So it's best place to find me.
Thank you, Delphine. And if you want to find out more about me, my film, my brand photography, go to mrsci.uk. So again, thank you for coming, Delphine. I noticed that you're having your final sip of coffee, and see you very soon. Grazie. Merci.
Bye.